the Seagulls Social. This is the Wolves match preview, and I'm joined by Jack Albion. Come on down. How are you today, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I realised I'm wearing an orange shirt for the Wolves preview, which didn't look great, but it's actually it's a Marseille shirt. So
Viva Deserbi, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's got more pay 32 on the back actually. So because I love my man. But yeah, no, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. The weather's not great today, is it? It's a bit gloomy, but hopefully...
No, it's a little bit bleak.
It is, isn't it? But hopefully, Jack, what isn't looking bleak is our chances on the weekend. So, big game on Sunday against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And we said this off air, but they're the only side in the Premier League not to register a win. So how Brighton would it be, Jack, for that to happen on Sunday, eh?
I know, it's written in the stars, isn't it? Like, I do think, like, to be fair to Wolves, I watched their game against Spurs and they are improving. And I do think they've had a hard start and they've had some unlucky results in amongst it. So it seems like our sort of typical banana skin. And at the end of the day, they have to win at some point. Like, there's not going to be a Premier League team ever that just goes a whole season without winning. So no disrespect to Wolves, but you've got to be looking at a win, though, really.
Yeah, especially at home. And it's interesting you mentioned about them improving. Obviously, yeah, they did have 4 losses on the bounce, but then to get a draw against Spurs. But interestingly, Jack, each result they've lost is when they lost, apart from Leeds, was just by 1 goal deficit. So 1-0 against Newcastle, 3-2 against Everton, and 1-0 against Bournemouth, and then 3-1 against Leeds, obviously. So they're not exactly like getting battered, are they? They're not exactly getting torn apart by teams. It's much closer than I think we've come to realise. And then, like you said, in that last game against Spurs, they were unlucky not to win, in my opinion. From the highlights I saw, I thought they looked the better side. And obviously that last-minute João Palhinha equaliser, would have been their first win of the season. But looking at their lineup, Jack, they've obviously sold a lot of big key players over the years. And it looks like this season, apart from Strand Larsen, really, I don't know. I think they've struggled in the transfer market, didn't they? In terms of bringing in players they probably would have liked. Looking at that team, obviously you've got Arias, who played in the Club World Cup. João Gomez is a good player. Andre in the middle. The 2 centre midfielders are pretty handy players. Even Bueno is not too bad. But who do you think is going to be their key, player to look out for, or who are you most worried about when it comes to that Wolves side?
Do you know, it's funny you say that, actually, because like Strand Larsen is obviously the main one. He's the big player. I think Wolves sort of have taken the mantle from Watford a little bit and become like the Football Manager regen FC. And no disrespect to them, I think
people say that about us, Jack, to be fair.
They do. Whereas I don't really know much about a lot of Wolves players, and it's not meant in a disrespectful way. It just seems that they do a lot of churn every year, and there's always one good player that they do sell on every year. Obviously, that was Cunha last year, and it was the other geez who went to City, whose name completely...
Nunes. Mateus
Nunes, that was it. Mateus Nunes. So, yeah, they do have... They go through a lot of churn, and I know a few Wolves fan, and they have their ownership issues with Jeff Shee at the moment. So I think this has been a bit of this sort of start to the season. It's been coming for a few years now. They've sort of been very comfortable in their mid-table berth, and they've sort of slowly careered towards this path of struggling. But I do think they've got the quality in the side, and I don't think the manager's bad. I don't think there's a lot he could have done with this squad, and I think it's just a matter of time before they do start picking up points. But we did think that last season, and they got rid of Gary O'Neill, and then the wins started to come, and they finished very comfortably in the end. So it's a hard one to call, really, in that sort of sense, in who you think the danger men are going to be, because I don't know who the danger men are. Strand Larsen, I guess, and the bloke you mentioned.
No, so talking to Strand Larsen though, because obviously last season, drummer, he had that purple patch where I think he scored like 5 games in a row, 6 games in a row. But this season, he's failed to score in the Premier League. He scored 2 in the EFL, but he struggled in front of goal this season. So I think they're really struggling on both fronts. Conceding goals and the lack of goals, I suppose. So to switch it back to our attention, because I think, I think we can all agree that knowing our luck, we're going to say we're not fearful of anyone, but there's, ultimately it's going to bite us in the arse, isn't it? So there's no point really.
Do you know who I am weirdly fearful of? And I know this all sounds a bit stupid because I don't think he's that impressive of a player. Well, I mean, he's decent enough, but I'm always very nervous about Matt Doherty. I don't know why. He always seems to have a good game against stuff. I don't know why. I think that's a bit of a rogue shout probably from me, but he always seems to do well as sort of the right back going down. So fair play to him on that, but. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's going to come back to bite me, obviously, isn't it?
That's what we'll stay away. But Jack, that actually brings me on really nicely, actually. You talk about right back or who Doherty might be facing. So team news for us, Karen Matoma's not in the Japan squad for the international, which is going to be the international break after this game. Does that suggest maybe he might be injured? And if so, do you think Tommy Watson might start there? Or could you see maybe Minter going on the left, Gruder on the right? There's a lot of talk. There's a lot more options. How do you see that? Because, it's a really good point. Obviously, Matt Doherty, who's he going to come up against? Who's it going to be?
Well, I think to be fair to Matoma, I think it's the right decision for him not to go to internationals. I believe Japan have already qualified for the World Cup. So him not being in the squad, it doesn't really mean much in my personal opinion. And it's perfect time to rest him. He's going to be travelling over the world. See it. So even if there's not an injury related, I can understand why that perhaps he hasn't gone with the squad. He looked, to be brutally honest, shagged. So but if he doesn't start, if he's injured for whatever reason, then we've obviously got to bring someone else in, don't we? So for me, I would probably go with Minter on the left, and maybe I'm going to go with a rogue shout here: Max de Kuiper at left back and Ferdi Kadioglu on the right wing. Maybe that's a bit of a rogue shout from me there, but I think he's capable there. I think he's proven that he's got a lot of ability in the last few weeks, and it'd be good to see it going forward because I think we can all agree that his defending's been good, and I think going forward he's been very good as well. So maybe that's the option for us in that game.
Yeah, well, interesting actually. I don't mind that because it gives you that defensive stability, doesn't it? Really, and you see the work rate that Minter gives you on the right hand side, and Kadioglu, I'd say he's not equally maybe, but he's up there in terms of work rate and that fight that he's got in him. So yeah, I don't hate that shout. I would quite like to see, selfishly, maybe Tommy Watson, just because he is an out and out winger, but like you say, he doesn't give you that defensive, stability that maybe a Kadioglu would. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Maybe the people that are watching this and listening to this can let us know what they do. It'll be interesting to hear what people think. Who should start if Matoma is unfit for the game on Sunday? Who would you like to see start left wing? Do let us know because it looks like we are divided here at Seagulls Social. But also, Jack, another bit of team news. You've got Joel Veltman, apparently, had a small injury to his calf, explained Herzler. So he had a knock in the training before the game, and then he felt it in the first half. He was able to continue. We had a scan and it showed a small issue. And Hinshelwood is still progressing, but it looks like he's going to be out at least for the foreseeable. So, yeah, right back as well could be an issue, Jack. How do you see that panning out?
I think the obvious one there is Weaver comes in. I don't think that needs to be overcomplicated any more than it does. I'd like to see Weaver come in for Veltman in that situation.
Yeah,
it's pretty straightforward.
Well, because it's not going to be. He's not going to play him in midfield, which is his natural position. But that's a conversation for another day. And talking about that centre midfield, just final thing on sort of team lineups. Who would you want to see in the midfield? Because again, there's obviously, the likes of Ayari, I think, has been our standout player in the centre midfield with Baleba still sort of finding his real form. Who do you want to see next to Ayari, if you do want to see Ayari start, that is?
I'd like to see Baleba and Ayari again. Maybe Diego Gomez start. I mean, I actually thought he had a really good game at Chelsea. He'd worked really hard, which is something that, that Herzler, and it was quite interesting to watch the Brighton Unlocked thing to see him sort of saying, you've got to want these wins, you've got to work hard for them, and that's what we did. And I think Diego Gomez very much epitomises the work rate that he wants to see. He's got a lot of energy, he's running, he may not be the quickest bloke, and him at right wing chasing onto a loose ball isn't always the easiest watch, but he's definitely giving his all. So I think it's quite hard to drop one of Gomez or Ayari. I think maybe probably just stick with what we did on Saturday and maybe play Gomez higher up the pitch, because he did really well at sort of settling that midfield for the first hour or so before we sort of brought on some big guns and started playing. So yeah.
Yeah, no, and the final thing, Jack, before we wrap up, we've had we've got a really good record. I'm just looking now. Our head-to-head history is actually mental. Wolves only won 2 of their last 16 games, drawn 6, lost 8, and are winless in the last 7. Oh, we've got
an
interruption.
Attack of an animal. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Another animal attack. Want to make a yearly appearance.
Yeah, get her in. But yeah, Jack, it's been a happy hunting ground for us. We've actually won our last 4 top flight visits to Molineux.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll make it 5?
Yeah, I think there's always the opportunity that we've got to win this game. You know, if we're looking at our aspirations, which we have, and I think the win against Chelsea sort of said, you know, we're not out of any European contention, you know, fully yet. But if we want to be looking at the right end of the table, because it's early doors, really, you know, as much as I probably over-dramatise our lack of European place this season. You know, it's early days, and if we can build on that win from Chelsea, it'd be great to get the win at Wolves and then go into the international break. Because if we want to be up that end of the table, games against Wolves are the ones that we've got to be winning. And that's no disrespect to Wolves, again, as a club, but they're one of the teams nearer the bottom. And, you know, we've got to look at that and build upon it. So it'd be interesting to see how we do.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're right. I think Chelsea could be that turning point for us. Hopefully, I'm praying. You know, because we've struggled in the first half majority of the games, and we've needed a few big comebacks. You know, obviously, notably, you know, what we just did last weekend, and then the City game. You know, good comeback there. And it seemed like first half we've sort of been a bit slow to get out the blocks, and then second half it seems like we've been able to turn things around. So fingers crossed we can. You know, Chelsea was hopefully the turning point, like you say. And, Jack, with a win, again, depending on results, best case scenario, we could go into those European qualification spots. So, yeah, I think it's a huge game. And like you say, again, no disrespect to Wolves. It is a game that if we want to have high aspirations, we do need to win this game. So, talking of that, Jack, score prediction?
Score prediction, I'm going to go with 2-1 Brighton.
Nice. Goal scorers? Who do you fancy?
I'm going to go Yankuba Minter, and I'm going to go for Yasniari. Fancy him.
Oh, nice.
Fancy
Love that.
Yasniari.
Love that. Do you know what? Yeah. I'm going to go big and bold. I'm going to go 3-0 Brighton.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go... I think Minter 2. And then I'm going to go Welbeck to carry on. Well, I say carry on. To capitalise on what he did against Chelsea and make it, because I think that would have given him a big confidence boost. I think Welbeck, I think he needed that after a poor start. So yeah, hopefully he can get a goal against Wolves as well. But yeah, Jack, there we go. That is our match preview. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do let us know in the comments. Your thoughts and previews on the Wolves game. Let us know what you think the score will be, how you see the game panning out, and we'll try and reply to you guys. And yeah. We shall see you. I'm actually going to be away. I'm actually on holiday. Jack doesn't know this, but I'm actually away on holiday next week. So hopefully Jack and Ben can man the fort, and I'll be back a week after that. Yep. Peace out.
Excellent.
A-Town down in a bit.